My next claim is that Shaq didn't carry Kobe, he needed Kobe. Oh, there's a fight. There's a fight for the chair.
Would you say that the best player on pretty much every championship team in the history time needed a second good player, right? So you could say they needed Jordan Farmar in the 2010. Like,
I fundamentally
reject. Someone, right?
I fundamentally reject the premise that.
Well, let's just go the year 2000, right? How many They won 3 championships together.
3 championships. 2000,
so you probably know the
2001,
number down to the decimal. What did Kobe average in that 2000 finals? I think it was 15.6, and he shot 36% from the field.
Do you want some context on that or what?
The guy had context, dude.
Hold on. He rolled his ankle in the first quarter of one of those games and averaged 0. He had 0 points for that game that went into his statistical average. Okay, and then he was.
So he was still. And what did Shaq average? Tell me what Shaq averaged. Tell me what Shaq averaged.
Physically compromised. Hold on. Let's talk about Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, where they went to the NBA Finals. That they were down 13 in Game 7 at home. They wouldn't have even been in the finals if not for Game 7. Can you tell me what happened in Game 7 against the Portland Trailblazers?
Kobe went crazy.
Western Conference Finals.
Kobe went crazy.
Kobe Bryant, can you tell me what happened?
No, I can't. Are you going to give me the stats? Kobe had 18 points on 7 of 8 shooting and 2 for 3.
I can tell you that Kobe Bryant led the Lakers in points, assists, rebounds, and blocks in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals.
And then you're going to go and belittle
them to get them to the finals. Because yes, bro, you got me. Shaq was better than Rick Smits and was destroying Rick Smits in the finals.
Thank you.
You got me. But they wouldn't have been in the finals
any
of the 3 years without Kobe being the best. They would not have been in the NBA Finals.
Pretty much every championship team. Pretty much every championship team. So you just listed one game. Pretty much every team. Again, you could say they wouldn't be there if it wasn't. But now you're talking about points, rebounds, and blocks. And then you're going to discredit. So, okay, over the runs. Who had more points, rebounds, and blocks over the 3 runs? Over the 3 years. Answer the question.
Shaq.
So then how are you using that?
Shaq averaged about 1.5 points more in their 4 finals runs.
So now it matters the specifics of it?
1.5.
Okay, so he averaged more. More is more.
But who was the closer? Who was the ball handler? Who was the
undefeated in hypothetical scenarios? And who had the better Mamba mentality? Who woke up earlier that day? That's what we talk about when we're talking about Kobe.
Who was the best player in the Showtime Lakers era?
Magic, or they had 2 of the best players of all time. So
Right. So this is my premise.
The claim is who was better in the 80s?
No, this is my claim.
Can we stick to basics?
Yes.
Who had a higher VORP?
Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal were co-best players.
Okay, Shaq in a literal sense was better.
But he wasn't. That's what we're talking about.
But he was. So the first finals, you're talking
about the first finals. Let's talk all 3. Let's talk about 2001.
Well, I believe 2000 was one of them.
2001 and 2002. Okay, let's talk about
2001. So then they were great running mates. That's why you ever heard this expression like Shaq and Kobe? Well, first of all, which one comes first? But what? Like that's an express. They were 2 great players.
No one's denying. Talk about 2000, then I'll talk about 2001.
I already spoke about it. No one's denying the greatness of Kobe. He was a great running mate. He was probably the best second option other than Scottie Pippen in their runs.
No, he was a co-best player. He was far better than Scottie Pippen.
So now you're saying he's a co-best. What's the claim?
Shaq did not carry Kobe. Shaq needed Kobe.
Okay, so we needed him. But so they're who was better? Who was better?
I'd say Kobe Bryant was more valuable.
Then why isn't that your claim? Because clearly you don't believe that. You have some very strong beliefs. If you thought Kobe was better, you would say Kobe was better. But Shaq needed Kobe.
Well, I would say they're co-best players on that run, like Durant and Curry were in the Golden State runs. That's the dynamic that Shaq and Kobe had in my estimation. You and other people try to paint Kobe Bryant in revisionism that he was like a Pippen to Shaq's Jordan. Not the case. It wasn't Batman Robin. It was Batman and Superman. Kobe and Shaq were Batman and Superman.
Let's not get into revisionist history with Kobe because the narrative has very much changed since he unfortunately passed away. But that day in January of 2020,
he's made lesser. Now, he's made lesser today.
That's factually incorrect because he used to come up in like the 9 to 12 range when you're talking about the greatest of all time, where he literally is. Ever since that very unfortunate day, people talk about him in a different light.
Everybody was talking about Kobe as a top 3 player when he was playing in the NBA. Peers and guys that he was playing. Yes. Kevin Durant has Kobe Bryant as the second greatest player.
Okay.
Can we not do stats? Can we not do semantics?
Well, but what are you talking about? Your feeling?
No, not
your
my feeling.
eye test?
No, not my feeling.
How do we gauge that?
We got smart. Let's work together, right? You say Shaq needed Kobe, right?
100%.
Everybody need a great teammate. Great.
Shaquille O'Neal
let me get my point. Let me get my point.
Than anybody
Yes, sir. Whatever you want. Look, let me talk to the camera because he's not gonna listen to me. So what I'm saying, who won 3 Finals MVP?
Okay,
Shaq.
but who was the best player in the Western Conference Finals?
If you go look at those, look at those final stats, you would see Shaq's stat. If you go look at the final stat, you would see Shaq 35, 16, and 3 blocks. You would see 38, 16, and 5 blocks. You would see 37, 15, and 3 blocks.
Stats,
what I'm just saying, yes, but I have to do semantics too.
Say that?
Yeah, you're right. But I have to do semantics. It's a mind game. Play with me. Okay, pause. So what I'm saying, right? So what I'm saying, right? Yeah, Shaq needed Kobe. But Shaq was the most valuable player on that team, without a question.
In the against the Eastern Conference teams.
It doesn't even matter.
It does matter.
So what about
the Western Conference was undeniably substantially better than the Eastern Conference during that span of time. So the stuff that came out of the East, yes, they had weak teams, weak players underneath. Shaq controlled those series. But look at the strength in the league. The Sacramento Kings, the San Antonio Spurs.
Yes, sir.
To get out of the Western Conference against way better teams. Kobe Bryant was the guy.
Okay, didn't you say earlier that Kobe closed the game?
Yes.
So what? Okay, hold on. Let me land.
He did more than that in the West.
No, that's fine. So what happened in the first, second, and third quarter?
Kobe in the West against the West.
No, you said Kobe closed out the game. What did Shaq do in the first, second, and third?
Well, they were scoring about the same.
What is?
They scored. There's a point per game difference.
Sir.
In the 4 finals runs through all the playoff games, about 90 games, Shaq scored
We're
about
talking
a point and a half
We're
more.
talking about Batman and Robin.
Batman and Superman.
Robin.
Batman and Superman.
Kobe was never a Superman.
No, I'd say Shaq was Superman, Kobe was Batman, if I had.
No, Kobe's not even Batman.
Yeah,
Kobe is Robin.
He's Batman.
No, he's not.
Can I touch on something that I talked about before? So when Kobe became a starter at the age of 20, besides Shaquille O'Neal, they played in 6 years. I'm gonna retouch on this. Shaq was 67 and 33.
Great.
Okay, and won 3 titles. In the other 13 years that Shaq was in the NBA, he was only 62 and 54, won 1 championship, and that was why. Hold on. Other than Kobe, in those 13 years, he played with 7 other top 75 players that included LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Steve Nash, Kevin Garnett. I'm just saying, who did Kobe Bryant have outside of Shaquille O'Neal for his 12 years after Shaq left? Pau Gasol, that's it? And he played with the only top 75 player Kobe Bryant played with outside of Shaquille O'Neal in 12 years was Steve Nash for 50 games, and Nash was 38 years old.
I don't even know why
and Kobe still won more.
I don't even know why you brought up Nash. They were completely washed at the time. When Kobe played with Shaq,
they were co-best players.
Shaq was Kobe's daddy. There was no issue.
What is with you and daddy? Do you have daddy issues?
It's okay.
You said before LeBron's everybody's daddy. Now Shaq's Kobe's daddy. Do you have daddy issues?
He just kidding. I don't have daddy issues. I don't have daddy issues. Do you have daddy issues?
No, I'm not saying daddy all the time like you.
So obviously Kobe didn't get along with his father. Kobe didn't get along with his father. So Shaq was the daddy. I'm sorry.
No team wins with one all-star. Shaq needed Kobe, Kobe needed Shaq. But in that time, and I'm talking their years from when they won their first title, in the entire, not just the West, the entire league,
first title,
teams around, besides the Lakers, they were building themselves to stop Shaq. And in that sense, they weren't building themselves to stop Kobe. Kobe was able to take advantage of that. Obviously, Kobe's a great player, but these teams were getting like 3 starting caliber centers. The Pacers needed Antonio Davis.
It was easier for Kobe then,
Antonio Davis, Dale Davis. The Sixers, Dikembe Mutombo, Matt Geiger, whoever their other guy was.
Yeah.
The one time, again, Kobe lit it up with those in that strategy. The one game plan.
Because why? Because it was easier because they were focused on Shaq.
They were focused on Shaq. They weren't building themselves.
Finish your point. Yeah, finish your point.
The Detroit Pistons, let's go to 2004. Chauncey Billups has stated this. We knew we were never going to stop Shaq. Our game plan was simple. For the first time, we're gonna guard Shaq one-on-one. We're going to let Ben Wallace do that, and then Kobe's going to get frustrated because we're going to keep going to Shaq, and Kobe in that series choked because he wasn't getting his touches, and therefore forcing the game.
Let me get this. First of all, you're referencing the 2004 Detroit Pistons, who are, in fact, the #1 rated net defense in the last 37 years. So you're referencing one of the greatest defensive teams of all time.
But I'm talking about their game plan. I'm talking about the approach.
All right. Let's talk about 2001, which I believe is one of the greatest teams of all time. We're going to talk about that team later on. In 46 games that Kobe played without Shaquille O'Neal, 46 games he played an entire game without Shaq from 2000 to 2004. In those games, Kobe Bryant averaged 30 points per game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, all better than when he was playing with Shaquille O'Neal. But let's look at 2001, one of the greatest teams of all time. with Shaq on the floor per 100 possessions, which there are about 100 possessions played in today's NBA. So that's how much harder. I'm normalizing the pace from today's NBA back to 2001. Kobe Bryant averaged 33 points per game on 55% true shooting percentage with Shaq on the floor per 100 possessions. Now that tracks every second that Kobe played with Shaq during that year. With Shaq off the floor during that year, for every second average out per 100 possession rate, Kobe Bryant averaged 44 points per game that year, jumped from 33 to 44 without Shaq, and that was wild. His true shooting percentage only dipped 1 percentage point. 54, still higher than league average. That is what Kobe was doing without Shaq. So to say that he had his way because they were dialed in on Shaq is just outright and unequivocally false.
But it's not, and I'm not saying Kobe's a bad player. I'm just saying this, in certain situations, the Nets, when they were trying to go back to the finals, they were trying to get Alonzo Mourning because they were gearing up for Shaq. No team was going to trade for Ron Artest to shut down Kobe at that time. They both needed each other. That's a fact. All I'm saying is
they were co-best players.
In that time period, they were gearing up for Shaq, not Kobe. Kobe was having his will against the Sixers. He was getting guarded by Eric Snow. They weren't going to get Kobe stoppers. They were going to get Shaq stoppers, and that's where I'm walking off.